playoffs, or was it just that's how the depth chart fell this week?
We're very confident in our quarterback position, which is a great feeling. We've got some good players there, and Danny was a starter before he got hurt, before Bryce and Brian both started to take the role, and both of them did an outstanding job. We won the 2 games they both did. We felt, obviously, since Danny was well, get him back in, because we don't want to really have anybody lose a job just because of injury, unless it's a very long-term job. That's different, because then they come back rust. But we wanted to get Brian some work again, and the plan was just as you saw, it was really going to be a half and half. Danny, excuse me, I said Brian maybe, but Danny would get the first half and Bryce would get the second. That's how it worked out. So there was really no more to that. That was everything about it.
And then Bryce, you coming in immediately looked successful, were able to find yards on the ground and in the air. What were you seeing that was letting you be successful right off the bat coming in later in the game?
Yeah, well, the first drive threw a pick, so after that, kind of just doing too much. But then also coming on the sideline and Brian and Danny, we all get together and talk. Makes it easy when you go back out there because we all communicate and tell each other what we see. And then Coach Marcel, he did a great job calling, plays and which utilizes, my legs and different things, stresses the defense. Anytime you add another element out there, running the ball, there's vacancies all over. And those guys did a great job of getting open. We came out with a tenacious, attitude that we weren't going to lose that game. The guys set it up front, and I couldn't be more proud of those guys, how we played, how we battled, especially in these conditions. We're not used to it. But, we did a great job, and, hats off to everybody.
Any other questions in the room?
Coach, congratulations on the victory. I actually was over in San Antonio yesterday and talked with Coach Holtz afterwards, especially about the situation where you're going to play in back-to-back weeks, and he kind of said it was like uncharted territory. A little bit of your opinion on that situation, and what exactly is maybe a tiebreaker situation in that?
I think that's a good term for it. It is uncharted territory. And we'll talk at length tomorrow. We have a short week actually too. They'll have 7 days, and we'll be minus a day. So we have to. We're going to have to talk about a lot of things, because it's also a game that who plays and how much. Everything from the quarterback position to across the board. We had a couple guys get banged up again today, so we'll probably have to shuffle the alignment. The depth chart around a little bit again. But as far as big picture and what the game means, and from that standpoint, aside from who's going to play and injuries and all that, look, our team wants to win the game, and there's something actually on the line with this game now that there might not have been before if yesterday had been a different day. Because of that, that's another thing we have to talk about. So there really are no real. I can't give you any concrete answers as far as what it'll do to us, but we'll have a decision tomorrow. But it's a good one to be in. I'm going to say that.
And just one more question, because Birmingham did lose yesterday, does it give maybe some extra motivation? Yes, they're human. They can lose a game after winning 15 straight.
Yeah, well, we scrimmaged against them too, so we've had them a couple times. So we had them one time at our practice facility as well. But everybody's human in this game. You play it long enough, and you shouldn't really have any fear of another team. That was like I opened up in here even saying. I mean, throughout our league, the teams. Well, yesterday Arlington, a one-win team, and they get another one, and against a very good football team, and that's the same thing. Today Houston has only one win, but it's a great league for competitiveness, and we'll see what it brings next week. But yeah. And
not necessarily a comment, but one thing Coach Holtz did say yesterday, I asked him about the difference this year compared to last year when there was an XFL and USFL. He said teams have a lot more depth this year. You're able to go down and get that second man up there of a stronger quality this year than last year.
Very true. I couldn't agree with him more. The league is twice it's 100% better, the talent that's on your football team. We kept 25 from a year ago at the cut when the season began that was on our team a year ago, and we put 25 new players to make up the 50 full roster. And so it's, like I said, it's 100% better. And I think every team is pretty close to the same. I know we feel that way very strongly about it. And so when you do have some injuries, for example, our football team, we've been able to go to some people that were supposedly in a backup role, but when they became the starter, have done an outstanding job. And I'm hoping that continues because we continue to get little bumps and bruises along the way.
Thank you, Coach, and good luck.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Coach or Bryce?
Coach, going into this week, you've already clinched playoffs. The Birmingham Stallions will have home field advantage in the playoffs because of scheduling conflicts in Ford Field. So what did you do this week as a coach to motivate your players to say, hey, this is still a game, we need to go out there, give it our all, and come out with a win despite, the rest of the season being mostly about the players and their own journeys trying to get back to the league?
Mm-hmm. Well, first off, when it comes to the players, I'll say this too about the players playing. Look, all of them want to play, so it's much different than the NFL when you get in the situation that both teams are at, because these guys are playing. What I want to say, I don't want to sit anyone down. They're playing for multiple reasons. They want to win, but they're also playing because they want to do well and to have maybe have an opportunity in the NFL. So you don't want to ever steal that from somebody. The other thing is in our league, if you don't play, you get half a check. You don't get a full check. So that's another reason why you don't want to take somebody out of it. But they all have the drive and the motivation to win, and we are playing for that. As far as the division, you could say, this week. With Birmingham. So again, there's a lot to play for. It means a lot to the guys. And as we talked to Dave, and if you're a champion, every game means something to you. And not just the ones that are after the playoffs once you get in. The best teams continue to play well leading into that playoffs. You don't want to fall off or excuse yourself for bad behavior. Bad games is what I mean. It just doesn't work well. My experience, and I've had several in that area, if you start to think that certain games don't matter because you're already in playoffs, typically you don't last long in the playoffs. And I think that's the way our team plays. Every game's been important. Last week against Memphis, and today was very important as well.
And then my last question for you, Coach. 2 seasons in a row making it to the playoffs, but this year you progressed and made it in a much more just impressive fashion. What do you think is the biggest reason that from season 1 of you coaching the Panthers in the USFL to season 1 of the UFL, the team has made that jump?
Without question, it's the players. And the players have been added to our roster from Steve Kaiser, our general manager. And I think Marcel has been an outstanding addition to the coaching staff. And that's really what it is. So everything that brought the players here, like I said, Kaiser, everything that's kind of mapped out what those players are doing. Bryce had already mentioned Marcel in his game plan. I think Marcel does an outstanding job of identifying every position, but in particular the quarterback, and knowing what he wants to use for them. And they know what he wants to use for them. It's not like they get surprised by where in the heck did that thing come from. They know. So, and that's the honest to God truth. That's why we're a better football team. Without question in my mind, it is nothing else. We got better players. Why? We got better players because we got Steve Kaiser's brought in better players, and we got better players because they're being coached better, in my opinion. I think the assistants have done a great job, not to take anything away either from Colin Bauer on defense. He's done a great job, the coordinator.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
The last question right here.
Okay. I'd just like to hear from both of you. The heat today obviously was a factor. You guys came out pregame in pads. The Roughnecks didn't. How did that affect your preparation and the performance during the game?
Well, we knew what it was. We know, how hot it was going to be out here coming into the week. Coach did a great job of making sure that we were all hydrated. So, it wasn't surprising at all. I mean, obviously it was still challenging kind of coming out here and having to deal with it, but they had to play in it too. And I think for us, not giving into that notion of, let's take some things off while we're practicing and preparing, but let's just go out there. Let's do what we do. Let's do our warm-ups. Let's go out there and prepare how we know how to prepare. And then, when we get out there, just fire around. It's going to be hot, but so what? I mean, sometimes in these games, you got to fight adversity. And I think we did a great job of the guys not caring. Or even if they did care, they played like they didn't. They were still fighting around, and guys, were coming out, and different guys were going in. And I think everybody did a great job of just feeding off each other. When guys needed a blow, people stepped in and made plays, and did a great job of just hydrating, making sure that a lot of those injuries, didn't happen. And even though we had pads on and they didn't have pads on, kind of more guys on their side kind of felt like they were going down, and I think we did a great job of just hydrating all week.
I felt like I dropped the ball on that one, to be perfectly honest with you. When I saw them with no pads on, I thought to myself, that was a great idea. Why didn't I do that? I did. The only thing you did notice about us is we got back inside real fast. We didn't stay out there very long. We cut the entire thing in half. But so as much as I preached to them, as Bryce just said, all week long about hydrating, doing this and that, I really did. I kind of missed it as far as the pregame. I won't forget that in the future because you don't need to be out. It was hot out there early, though. And it actually was pretty nice. I thought as the day went on. There's a little breeze down there, and the cloud cover came in. Yeah, but
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Bryce.
all good.
That'll wrap it up.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.